Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Cryptoware. Today we are going to analyze another sample and this time we are going to learn something very interesting and something new. And again, these are completely meant for beginners. And I'll get back to the alternate day reverse engineering challenge. I have been getting some pretty good responses from you people, and thank you so much for the support. I'll come up with more videos on reverse engineering. So, what I'm planning to do is I'll be doing a set of videos which are related to specific to alternate day reverse engineering challenges, and they'll be the easier ones, but I'll also cover some challenges which will be slightly at the difficult part also, so we can learn about them. So there are lots of things in my mind that I'm going to cover. It's just that I'm slightly occupied with a lot of things. There are some other commitments also. So I'll gradually bring everything up in my channel. So stay tuned and thank you so much for the support. And for now, let's get started. So here I will be analyzing today a PowerShell sample. And here you can see this is the PowerShell sample which I'm using. I'll share the hash of the sample in the description below. So previously, what we have done is we have deobfuscated samples, right? We have statically deobfuscated the sample. We have not used any other tool except for the text editor that we are using. We were just replacing, we were finding some common things, we were replacing them, we were removing the part which were the messy part. But this time we are going to learn about this deobfuscation in a different way. Now we'll be trying some other steps this time. And again, this is a series of deobfuscation done easy, but in a very following a different approach. And this is something very interesting for people to learn. And we are learning about PowerShell debugging at the very beginner level. So we'll be covering the advanced part gradually, as I have been always mentioning it before. So let's get started. So now as you can see, this is the PowerShell command, and we'll be following two approaches. One of the approaches something that we have followed previously. So right now I'll just be discussing so that you can try them on your own. And the other approach we'll discuss right now, and you can explore that approach. Like I'll be showing that approach over here, and you can try that out. You can try that out also on your own, and you can explore the other options. The exploration is completely up to you. So whenever I get some interesting sample, I'll be following something advanced, something at the beginner level, something new or interesting, which could be a good learning path for you as well. So few things that we are going to do, we'll just discuss about the first approach that we have been following before, is clearing out the mess. Like we will just try to make it look less messier. Sometimes the samples are not that obfuscated, but they look extremely obfuscated because of a lot of gibberish variable names, functions name that they use. And that's what they have done here. They have not used a very big variable name, but it is kind of messy. It does not make any sense, right? And also we can see some kind of hex string mostly that has been used, and something is happening with it over here. So coming back to the first statement, first line, this is mostly the comment, so we'll ignore all the comments. If you want, you can remove the comments, but since this is a very smaller piece of code, so even if we keep it right now, it will not make it look very messy. Now I'll just create some space, some lines after this semicolon, just to understand what is happening. What is this? Is it something that is of importance to us? It is creating something. It's over here. This is the same variable, this one. So something is happening. So the first approach that we would have followed is performing the same steps. So what I would prefer doing over here is I would either write a Python script or I'll just use the same PowerShell script, and I will try to um, I'll try to get the decoded part of it, or I'll try to do it manually. So right now the see, the goal anyway is to get the decoded part so that we can understand what is happening. But in my previous approach, I would have followed some kind of manual work, but now we will be trying something very different. So you can see some substring, some conversion is happening. So instead of manually deobfuscating it, we'll actually follow a very interesting and different approach, which is this ISE. So this is already present in every Windows operating system. So you can actually open it and you can perform some sort of debugging. So here you can see that this file is already loaded. If you can see, if you want to compare, you can see this is the same file. So I have saved it. So what you can do is you can copy them all and paste it and save it in a different name. The only difference is I have added right host over here. So I'll repeat everything again. So I'll just copy these all and I'll just paste it and I'll just save it to test2.ps1. Okay. So here you can see that it has an option for debug. You can see step over, step into, step out, run, continue, toggle breakpoint. So we will not do a lot of things, but we will look at the interesting things. So we will perform the debugging, but we do not have to execute the command completely, but execute it to the level or debug it to the level so that we can see what it is trying to achieve. So if we look at the command, I mean the sample superficially, we'll see that there is some encoded string. It's a huge encoded string. Some kind of conversion is happening based on the length. And what I feel is that this is a hex encoded payload. Most probably it is a payload since we are talking about malicious samples, and it is getting decoded over here. So these are the parts that are interesting, that are important for us. Now, very basic thing that we are going to try at this point is we want to know what this variable is. So I'll simply write write host. Why write host? What is write host? This is a PowerShell command. If you want, we can actually Google it and we can try to understand what write host does in PowerShell. But as the name suggests, you can actually also try to, like, you can guess that what is happening over here, what happens when you write this. So it just writes the customized output to a host. So it's to produce the display only output. So we just, it's like a print function, so we just need the output. So here I'm using this write host so that I can get the output of the decoded part, so that I don't have to worry a lot. I do not have to perform it manually, or I do not have to run a separate script or make any changes to the script, although those are other options also. Manually deobfuscation is something that I have shown before. Writing script is something that I have discussed in my reverse engineering videos too. This debugging using PowerShell ISE is something different that we are trying, and this is very interesting. And although this is very much specific to the PowerShell samples, you can follow similar approach while debugging batch or VB scripts also. I'll be definitely sharing debugging those script files also. So here I'll write host and I'll just put the variable name. Another approach that can be followed is I'll definitely show that also. So let's just follow this. Let me go back. Yes. And if you want, you can set a breakpoint. Here's the toggle breakpoint over here. If you want to set breakpoint over here, you can set breakpoint here also. Totally depends upon you. I'll set a breakpoint here too. And here is the run script. So I'll directly run. So here you can see the DBG mode. So the debugger mode is over here. So if you want to step over, you can do that. Yes. So it ran and we are here. Okay. So because why am I saying we are here? Because if this would have ran, it would be shown on the screen. And that is what I mean over here. So that is what we are most interested in. So I'll just again to step over. And here you can see how right host has actually given me the output of this variable. Yes, this is the variable over here. Even hovering over here also gives me the output, right? So what I'll do is I'll quickly copy and paste it, or you, if you want, you can redirect it to a different output as well. So I'll just take it from here. Another approach that I would like to show is, just give me a minute. Yes. You can put it in a separate text editor and we'll analyze this further. You can follow the same approach. You can deobfuscate it manually if it is obfuscated, or you can put it over here and you can debug it. So we will do that also. So another approach could be, if you remove the right host, okay, I'll have to stop it. Let me just stop the debugger. I'll just remove this right host. Okay. Okay, and I'll again run. Yes, it will be saved. So we are over here. Okay. So once I do step over, once it is run completely, we'll move to here. But even if we have not written right host, we could, if you want, we can see what this variable means. So I'll just copy and paste it over here. And here you can see. So you don't always need to write the right host, but you can actually directly mention the variable name also over here and you can get the output. So there are two different approaches and these are the simplest one. With PowerShell, you do not have to do a lot of things to debug because it is just a simple script file and you do not have to get into anything. You just have to see what is happening. And whatever debugging that I have done with PowerShell, this right host or without right host have been enough. Like setting breakpoints and step over have been enough for me to perform the analysis. So here in the Windows PowerShell ISE, you can see that option debug is mentioned, step over, step into, step out, run continue, and stop debugger. Everything is mentioned. So you do not have to do a lot of things. It's a very simple tool for you to perform the debugging of PowerShell commands, yet very powerful. Just with a simple command, you were able to do it. Now let's start with analyzing the other command that we have gotten. If you want, you can see what happens next, but I am not willing to do that because I really do not want it to get executed at this point. You can perform the execution. It totally depends upon you. And I am anyway in a VM. And even if you're performing static analysis or dynamic analysis, for dynamic analysis debugging, you should definitely be in a sandbox environment. But even for static analysis, make sure you are in a debugged environment. Now, coming back to the other embedded or hidden PowerShell that we have found, my my approach is to save this first, or maybe we can directly save it, but again we will look at the higher level what this code is doing. Even again the variable names do not make much sense, but you can see some threading.mutex is mentioned over here. You can see some conversion from base 64 decode is happening. If you want, you can actually decode this. This is most probably an HT, it's a URL. So let's just open and base 64 decode if you want. Even if you don't want, we can actually run it using a debugger. So we'll do that also. So I'll just put it over here and let's decode. And yes, this is a JPG file. This is the URL. And here you can see the JPG file is mentioned. So mostly it is downloading something. Here's another URL and it is getting saved in app data. So superficially you can get an idea of see how it is performing a get request, and you can see how it is getting replaced with zip. Most probably that is what I'm understanding. While you will be running, you will see some other thing. It is extracting the zip command forcefully. It is using that. You can see the URL is still mentioned over here. I think this is the same URL. Yes, the domain is the same, not the exact one. So you can see there's some other interesting information also. So here you can see some registry. So it is actually trying to gain persistence. So it is using the run registry key. So it's setting some value over there. So whenever we restart the system, this whatever they are putting it in the run path, in the registry path, it will get executed as the first thing after the system boots up. Anything else that we are finding here? So you can see, yes, the startup thing is related to the shortcut file. So it is creating a shortcut file also. So it is trying different ways how to, gain that persistence. And these are the very basic things. These are not very complex, and mostly the PowerShell scripts perform, or the batch scripts try to achieve these things. So superficially or at the very higher level, we have actually understood what is happening. Uh, we did not have to execute the code as of now. Now I'll just copy and paste it here and will perform the same. Okay, so we will have to stop the debugger. Stop debugger. And then I'll paste it. Yes, it got pasted. You can see the entire. So coming back to the debugging part, and we have to make sure that the debugger is stopped, because otherwise we'll not be able to save it or perform the debugging. Also, after copy pasting it in the ISE, we will have to save it. So I'll name it as embedded one. And again, we can start with debugging. We can start with setting breakpoints. So I'll set a breakpoint over here, right click and toggle breakpoint. I'll set a breakpoint over here. And here, meanwhile, we will also see the changes that are happening around. Okay. We can go one step at a time, and we can set a breakpoint over here also. We'll not run it directly, but we will see what are the changes that it is trying to do. Okay, we have just put breakpoints. We are not writing write host anymore. If you want, you can. So we have hit the breakpoint on line number 6 over here. So we want to see this variable name. So we'll just paste it over here. Okay, there's nothing as of now. We have not run it. Sorry, that is my bad. So I'll do just step over. Now I will see, yes, this is the URL that it is trying to access. Now let's see what it is trying to access. So we'll again do step over and we'll try to see what is this variable name. This is another URL. So we found two IOCs. So I've learned about IOCs also before. So what you can do is you can m- keep a track of these IOCs, keep a record of them, keep it separately, because right now you are just analyzing, and it is much easier than manually deobfuscating or writing a complete script on your own, where Such debuggers are making it much easy. And debugging all doesn't always have to mean that you are completing the entire execution of the sample, but as far as you are able to get all the details that are required, it's totally fine. So I'll just go one step at a time. I'm doing from here so that it gets easier for you to see, because I'm not, because you will not be able to actually see which buttons that I'm clicking on. So I'll do just step over. If you want, we can see this also, because it has already been executed. And this is the path. We saw it from here only. This is the environment variable. So we will try to see if we can access this path, what is happening in this path. So we'll just quickly open the file explorer and we'll put it over here. Okay. Okay, it has not been created most probably, but we can definitely go here, right? Yes. Let's go here. Uh, let's see. Two step over. We are here. And yes, here, this is where it got created. The folder is created, but the folder is empty. So here, next steps are happening. I know it's not very much visible. Let me just two step over. So most probably this is trying to do a get request. So it is going to send some request, HTTP request. So I'll set a breakpoint over here so that it gets easy. We are not going to see the entire request as of now. We'll just be here, put a breakpoint here. If you want, we can put a breakpoint over here also, because it's telling about write all bytes. So maybe we can see what is this variable defined over here. Okay, so let's just run. We are here. Okay, it's giving error. So it's saying invalid web request. So maybe it won't be able to, perform the complete execution. That is fine. So, okay. So looks like that the URL is not active anymore, although I have not checked, but I'm not going ahead a lot. I hope you have gotten a gist how you can actually see, and it's the very simplest form of performing debugging through PowerShell ISE. It's one of the very easiest form, and you can actually analyze the samples. I'll share the hash of the sample. You can try analyzing it on your own. You can follow whatever approach you wish to. And yes, so apart from just basic static analysis, performing some basic debugging also helps in identifying what the sample is doing. So that's it for today. We'll learn about more interesting ways to analyze a malware sample, and we'll come up with more interesting videos, gradually move to slightly advanced part also. But I am completely focused on at the beginners level, to be honest. So let's learn together and keep going. And please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And let me know what you thought of the video in the comments below. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.